What is going on in the world? I mean, we see now. I mean, I don't watch the news. I just pick it up on Facebook and Twitter, but we can see that the global markets are looking pretty dicey. It could even be that there could be some sort of imminent global collapse financially in the offing very soon. And this cannot be prolonged. This cannot be kept going. It's been sort of like waiting to happen for a long time. But it's easy to make booms and busts happen when you completely, well, not me, but obviously the people who are in control, the dark magicians, the Satanists, in effect, basically can print money out of thin air and give it to whom they like to forward their agenda. But so what's going to happen? Well, who knows? Nobody knows. Ultimately, human consciousness creates reality, and that's the secret that we're waiting to realize. But what we mustn't do, obviously, is to fall into some sort of fearful state where we think we've got loads to lose because we've got investments and houses and cars, when in reality we could have so much more. So just to sort of like back up maybe some of what I'm saying, there's a couple of guys. One of them's called the Dollar Vigilante. He's made a little video based upon his knowledge. He's been proven to be correct with financial predictions for quite some time. He's suggesting that there's going to be a collapse, mega collapse, through September towards the back end of October, as well as Martin Armstrong, the forecaster, who was in prison for correctly predicting the Wall Street crash of 1987. Now, there is this thing called the Shemitah, which is a 7-year cycle, which is coming to some sort of major culmination in September this year. And there are other key events that are happening which make me sort of push me towards thinking that this is a really key time. A key time that will have to be hijacked by the power structure in order for them to maintain their power on this conscious, shared consciousness that we are co-participating with right now. So I know a little bit about astrology. I practice it for my own personal development, so I understand what the keys and the learning lessons are for me on a regular basis. I've had a quick look at what's going on, and we've got 2 or 3 key things here that I want to share with you. The first one is obviously Saturn. Now, Saturn is the planet of truth and integrity. He is all Father Time. He spends 2.5 years in each sign, of which there are 12. And over the last 2.5 years, Saturn has been in Scorpio. Scorpio is the underworld. And Scorpio is also the generative organs and is sex and obsession and passion and things and waters which run deep. And this is why Saturn, over the last 2.5 years in Scorpio, has brought all this stuff around sexual scandal and paedophilia. Saturn, obviously Saturn has the light side and the dark side, like everything and every person. So when I say truth and integrity, the dark side of Saturn is obviously is perversion, is oppression, is complete control and abomination. And this is what the conspirators at the top, the cult, whatever you want to call them, the Dark Brotherhood, ultimately relate to most as a energy frequency, energy pattern of a planet, Saturn, Satan, and the list goes on basically. So anyway, towards the back end of September, Saturn comes into Sagittarius. Now Sagittarius is all about optimism. Sagittarius looks up into the skies. It's about philosophy. It's about religion. It's about new formed ideologies. It's about travel. It's much more of a light energy, an optimistic energy than Scorpio. So actually Saturn is making a really nice on the 23rd of September, when Saturn is at 0 degrees and 23 minutes, 23 being a significant number here. Saturn makes a really nice trine, a perfect trine, which is a really nice beneficial angle over towards the sun, which hits the autumnal equinox. Again, a really key event. We have obviously 4 key events in the year. as far as the sun's concerned, we have the winter solstice, the summer solstice, the spring equinox, and the autumnal equinox. These are 4 key points in astrology where they're supposed to be sort of like gateways, where the sun is bathed in a new energy, and there are fantastic opportunities for human evolution. Now, the sun, so we've got the sun, which does its usual thing on the spring equinox. It's trined by Saturn, which we've talked about, but it's also directly conjunct Rahu, the north node of the moon. North node of the moon isn't a real thing. It's a calculation between the sun and the moon. But Rahu that's its term from a Indian astrological perspective, is known as a malefic, even though it's also associated with karma. So it brings about some sort of an obsessive quality, but it heralds an energetic direction, sort of like where humanity or a person can be taken in the right direction, but through a series of unpleasant events, which don't feel very nice. I've monitored the Rahu, and for me, it's completely real, and I've experienced this myself. So with that hitting the equinox, with the sun at this particular gateway on this day, there's definitely, with also these predictions from an economic point of view, with September 23rd being a key day, there is something potentially massive, and also from a particular point of view quite unpleasant, which may well manifest. But at the same time, depending upon your own level of consciousness and your own perspective, and the fact that you look at the world, there's so much to be gained if we were to sort of like all get together and form a brand new economy and just say that all debt's bullshit and it's completely wrong. But again, it's all about attachment and all about fear. The more you have, the more fearful you are, the more of a negative vibration you are, the more unpleasant you're going to find it, basically. But within reality, you need to overcome this. People need to overcome this. Juno, also the female deity, a Roman deity, which is also a planet, is also thrown into the equation. Juno, again, she is the bastion of sort of like female strong energy. She deals with finances and she deals with fairness and communities. So Juno is in there, directly conjunct Rahu and the sun. So I see an opportunity for a brand new financial order based upon fairness and compassion, and much more of a female, sacred female energy, really. So in order for them to obviously hijack this, they're going to have to, again, denigrate and corrupt any form of female influence, which is what Christianity and Catholicism and the Vatican Church are all about. Anyway, because obviously they blame the woman for the sin and the fall of man. So I'm not just talking about females in general, but there's a female and male positive aspect to every life form. So, you know, it's an amazing time from an astrological point of view, but there is potentially a very unpleasant event in the offing, financially, materially, which we must put into perspective and overcome. So, stay free, dudes. Let's watch and wait. What'll be good.